Hello. I think we're working fine. Hello, I'm Ross from figurepainting.co.uk, and this is this month's review of Wargames Illustrated, issue 342, April 2016 issue. So, of course, it's come out in March. I have read it cover to cover, had it a couple of days. Some good stuff in here, some beautiful images as always, a couple of areas I'm not really happy about as always, and I shall give it a mark and we'll see what you think. It's my second attempt at this month, so I've gone through it once and read it a few times. So if you watch the other version and the sound wasn't so good, let's hope it's better this time. I apologize for that. Right, so as you know, Wargames Illustrated is themed. Theme this month is Great Reputations. As Dan says, following our intro piece in which we look at the problems of representing units which carry the baggage of great reputations, we take you to meet the Scots Greys, the Thin Red Line, the US Marines in Bewley Wood, and the Paras at Arnhem. Don't miss our latest Lion Rampant variant, which covers these popular Osprey medieval rules to play Napoleonic skirmish. We playtest them using Alan and Michael Perry as guinea pigs, and they're fantastic figures and setup and table and all that stuff. As a bonus, one I want to mention before we go, there's an article salute. When I lived in London, I was a member and helped with the show, and I loved it. Good luck to the guys. They're a wonderful bunch of people organising that show. It's April the 16th down in Excel. Just search it, you'll find it. South London Warlords. Wargames Illustrated are running their own sort of have a go area. What do they call it? Participation zone or something. Yes, participation games, which look good. They've got a Mad Max game. They've got a Team Yankee game. They've got some in Northwest Frontier. You can see more about that in the magazine in a minute. Sidewinder aerial combat. Sounds good. They've got Hobby University UK is back. So you can make a figure, take it away. Then their trade stand. See you there. I hope to be there. Yes, it's always a great show. Subscribe to Wargames Illustrated. First, there are Great Reputations. It's general chat article, really, mentioning all the units over time. Right back, Spartans, Theban Sacred Band, Praetorian Guard. The main thrust of the argument seems to be people like to use them to win games. Don't know about that. It shows how units can be upgraded through campaigns to become elite, which is where, excuse me, Luke Skywalker Red Squadron later becomes whatever they were called and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, interesting little article, sets the scene. First article, not based on reputations at all, is 1985, Team Yankee. Lots of background. Hang on, there's more background. Some cards, I think more than anything, it's a plug for the game if you haven't got it. Maybe this will whet your appetite and you will go and get it. So fair enough, lots of nice pictures. As always, beautiful magazine. Now it seems to be a real push. Oh, there's more Flames of War based on last month's article about the Japanese. There they are, appearing, follow up. This looks good. A new book, Cape Warriors from the Perrys. Colonel Snook again has written a book. I think he wrote the previous one on, I can't remember the details. I'm sure he has. And I'm sure I got it and I'm sure I enjoyed it. But don't quote me on that. But interestingly, in the book, you will also see, in the magazine, launch of Sudan figures in hard metal 28mm, plastic, which would be great. So they've been on the Perry's website and I can't find them. They don't seem to be there. They're out here, but they're not out anywhere else. Anyway, set in the standard, the intro says, Matt Moran looks at the first major action of the famous Scots Greys at the Battle of Blenheim. A regiment was forged and the legend was born. He sells himself a bit short, actually, because he's all the way back to the forming of the regiment. How it started off, the grey jackets, due to some sort of, how to do my finger backwards and upwards. Anyway, the grey uniforms, supposedly, they ordered grey cloth, to all that. Sort of red, the legend of Blenheim, and you can't talk about the Scots Greys. Like a good excuse to do the grey horses. It explains the legend and why they have grey horses, which I have to admit I didn't know before I read this, so I'll give them that. Although a slight gripe because it's a history article rather than a wargaming article. But hey, it's good. Victrix, looking forward to these. Like Cav, you always need Numidians, every ancient's army. Here's a cheap way of getting some on the table. This looks good. I don't know anything about it. I'm not recommending it. It just looks great. If you like pirates and stuff, what a nice looking advert. Let's give it a go. Prepare to be boarded. This game boasts compelling intuitive rule set, high quality models, masterfully crafted mechanics which allow for seamless transitions between land and naval battles. Endless scenario possibilities. Consultation from world-renowned historian and author Benison Little. Black Sails Fortune as well. To ensure all models, campaigns, and strategies reflect the period. Oh, that sounds good. This article, Eagle Rampant. Everyone's trying a new Rampant variant. This is for Napoleonics, which I was a bit skeptical, but fair play. Guest contributor Arthur Wellesley has given it a good go. And there's things about infantry in column being different to infantry in line, different cavalry. My concern is going to be, as much as anything, that Napoleonics, there's not much limitation on shooting usually, and if you're shot at, you shoot back, which doesn't work very well in Line Rampant. I love Line Rampant. As you know, I've done reviews, I've played games, Dragon Rampant, I've got some reviews to come as well. Similar thing with that. Yes, the game's fine, mechanics fine, but if you're going to go fantasy, I want it really fantasy. I don't want a giant. It's the same as it's one big finger with 12 hits, as opposed to heavy infantry, which is 12 figures with one hit each. Come on, I want more to it than that. So I hope there's more with the Napoleonics. What you do get, of course, it's some wonderful Perry figures, painted, scenario, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't say a lot about how well the game actually went, really. Look at that, eh? Wouldn't you just love to go and play there sometime? Those gorgeous figures and gorgeous scenery. I meet those two legends of the hobby. So anyway, interesting. Good to see people trying stuff. That's definitely a Wargaming article. Gets full marks from me. Even if I'm not sure the execution's perfect, that's what we want to see in magazines. More stuff, more new figures. Sorry, I'm running through a bit. The first time I did this, it ran miles over. This is the one that got me a little bit frustrated. The good old thin red line with the wonderful 93rd Balaclava in line, standing up against this enormous Russian cavalry charge and seeing them off with volleys at point-blank range. Excuse me, sip of tea. As I get on a hobby horse, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, and I know there's even been BBC, that bastion have not promoted this kind of stuff, has even done an article showing how crucial the Turks were in the fighting of the whole Balaclava battle. And in fact, the thin red line was mostly Turkish. There's more Turkish than British soldiers in the line. In this article, makes out the Turks had been fighting in the redoubt. As soon as they saw the cavalry, one shot at 800 yards and they legged it. And why wouldn't you? Ho, ho, ho. But the 93rd had made a stern of stuff and they stayed there. Hey, not knocking 93rd, fantastic regiment, brilliant history. I'm sure they fought heroically. But this was a case of maybe one or two Russian cavalry killed, no British at all. It was a skirmish on the edge of a much larger battle where all sorts of mistakes were made, like the Light Brigade, famous Light Brigade charge, where you had Tennyson dressing that up as a heroic failure. This is PR, propaganda, whatever you want to call it. It's 160 years on. I think we can move on a bit, be more rational. Interesting article I read on this, for example, if you go to Plastic Soldier Review website, which I recommend, great if you like plastic figures, especially 1/72nd scale, explains on there is about 400 Russian cavalry against 400 plus British, because there were some other odds, bits and pieces, wounded soldiers, stuff like that, making up the firing line. How the Turks had fought for a long time holding those redoubts, which is where apparently the Light, this isn't from their website, but I think reading elsewhere, that's where the Light Brigade was supposed to go and clear it out. The Turks bailed the British out. The whole thing was a mess and a lot more complicated than this kind of article where if you want to war game it, we'll have Colin Campbell saying, "You don't run away, you die here," you know, and he stands with the men. And the guy was a legend, and I'm sure he did exactly that. But this was a sideshow blown up to cover over the debacle. So come on, Wargames Illustrated, you keep pushing these same jingoistic things. That's what gives Wargamers a bad name. I think the whole idea of elite regiments, to be honest, borders on that as well. I know I've got my avatar, which I've been using for ages, of me and my 24th helmet up at the South Wales Borderers or Welsh Regiment Museum up in Brecon, which is not far from where I live. And I do go up there and I put the red jacket on and I enjoy it. Zulu is another exaggerated engagement. Look it up. Look at the casualty details. Look what happened. Anyway, I try and move on. Here's a history lesson. The thin red line was a jingoism lesson. This seems to be history, but come on, guys, it's just history. History, history, history. More history, more history, more history. Yeah, okay, great. It's well written. It's very good. It's a good article, but it's not wargaming. There's hardly anything about wargaming. Similarly, this wonderful American Marines arriving in, I think it's Bewley Wood. I apologize if I can't pronounce that correctly. So it's very famous, but I'm not as well up on this one, so I shouldn't really comment on the history that's contained. But it does explain the battle and how the Germany had reinforced its western front after the knocking out of Russia from the war. Not long after, or well, roughly the same times when the Americans turned up, and the Americans got on the wrong end of a push when they were pretty raw and had to fight their way out of it in difficult terrain. Must have been absolute hell. That's the way to describe it. And it's got a few things on how you could recreate this situation. I would like to see, if anyone from Wargames Illustrated is watching this review, more about how we wargame this, okay? There's a little bit there. A little bit. There it is. In the corner. Some forces you could use. You know, it's not a lot of work going into that, really, is it? Come on. So more like... I like they used to do for Flames of War, really. I know there's too much Flames of War in here, but at least they were battle reports and showed you how the rules worked and the things in action and all that kind of stuff, rather than just rehashing some history articles. Anyway, a review of a new game was new to me anyway, called Congo. I like it when they do a rules showcase, even if it's a game I don't know or particularly want to play. Looks okay. Looks cool, actually. Sorry, that sounds bad. Looks better than okay. Looks fun. It's that kind of... British/German adventurer, Tarzan sort of era, Edgar Rice Burroughs, with pygmies jumping out from trees and Mutawari, and it's in French in the examples, so I don't know if that's where it's come from. It's Congo, could be, Belgians, something like that. Lots of special rules. Looks fun, well presented, looks nice. The game examples well presented. Makes you want to find out more. So it's a bit like an advert. A lot of information, and I might get a copy of these rules. Looks interesting. There's the Perry release, most exciting part. As I always say, the adverts. Buy magazines as much for the adverts as for the articles. How cracking do they look? And they are 28mm plastic, but they're not on the Perry website. Don't tease us like this, Alan and Michael. If you're going to bring them out, bring them out. Put them up for sale. Oh, it does say, sorry. First time at the Perry Miniature Stand at Salute. Oh, there we are. I look stupid now. So, another reason to do the Salute. Get your mitts first on these plastic. As you know from my, if you go to my galleries, I painted hundreds and hundreds of their metal figures, and they're great. And the Mardis plastic box set, I've seen them used from ancient Philistines right through to modern terrorists, so they're great as well. I say modern, I mean 19th century. Or early 20th. Right, casted miniatures. I have to say, the advert looks fantastic, so I shall look out for those guys. Okay, I got to speed it up. I'm rambling on, rambling. There we are, the Devil's birthday party. This is where I have to backtrack on everything I just said. It's about the Paras, it's about Arnhem. I got to declare an interest. My grandfather's brother, so my great uncle, was there. He was at Arnhem, and he actually got out. He's one of the few who managed to sort of swim, walk, yomp. Took him, I don't know how many weeks, but he did finally come back. Never really spoke about it. Absolutely harrowing experience, obviously. I don't know how many friends and colleagues he saw dying and horrible things. But this is a really well-written article. Dr. David James, I take my hat off to you. You captured the spirit of the Paras. I've got a friend of mine who's 80 years old. I took up wargaming and modelling a couple of years ago. Ex-Para. And I'm just impressed. Anyone starts a new hobby aged 78, wherever he was at the time. And I see him every week. And he's great. And I think he'll love this article. And he'll particularly love Their laconic humour. It's just, it's got the fact that a poetry competition, the winning poems are very funny. Am I going to give a quote now? Because I love this article. So I guess I disprove my own point. If you're interested enough in the material, the fact that it's, yes, one of the paras apparently crawled under a table, emerged with a telephone, to the amusement of his comrades. He lifted the receiver. Hello, operator. I'd like to place a call to Whitehall 1212, please. Hello? Mr. Churchill? Yes, there are some Germans outside, and they're bleep, bleep annoying. So, good laconic para-humour, some great pictures of buildings. And he does actually have some ideas about wargaming it, how to simulate low ammo without using loads of ammo chits. So I give that a bonus. And the spirit of the paras are not giving up and basically having to kill every one of them to win it. There we are. I'm not... Yep, if in the years to come you meet a man who says I was at Arnhem, raise your hat and buy him a drink. That's Alan Wood, British Wargames correspondent. So there we go, bit near the home for me to enjoy playing it, although I can see why people do. Right, something completely fantastical, and I declared interest again because it's Terminator, and I am a fan. There's Arnie, and I named my first son Arnie. More for his bodybuilding and Conan roles and Terminator, but there you go. I'm playing the violin and all that stuff. I didn't know much about his politics when I made that decision. There you go. Right, anyway, loads as a whole scenario, how to play it, all the details. Seems I'm about to place in a Wargames magazine. There you go. It's shooting, it's tabletops. Some great big painted figures. I can show that Arnie there. I really like those figures. Someone's done a good job. Well done, whoever that was. Okay, I'll speed it up. Here we are. More propaganda stuff. Operation Iraqi Freedom. That famous scene when they dragged down the statue of Saddam Hussein in front of a mass crowd of dozens of people, probably dragged along to be there to watch it. I think Iraq was beaten, mate. They weren't liberated. Anyway, no politics, this war game. Keep the politics out of it. I tell everyone else to do that. I should do it myself. Anyway, rules, ideas for fighting battles. It's okay. It's a good article. I don't do moderns very often, but if you do, they're good. This is good. Recycled little round top, which is... sorry, I've got your name again, sir. I do apologize. David Marshall, TM Terrain, very good. He's taken previous terrain board, bashed it up with a hammer, and then remade it into an Afghan battlefield with a train line. Pretty good. He hasn't just bashed it with a hammer. That's me being flippant. It's very good. And you can see that at Salute. Next time you see it, it'll be swarming with Afghans as they recreate that scene, the film with the train, trying to get the prints out. Anyway, looks good. Then, what surprisingly, in the magazine again, my favourite part again, excuse me, more stuff about car wars on the road. I'm going to get the Steve Jackson new game. I was a big fan way back in the day when the first Car Wars came out. And this looks fun. This is loads of cars, souped up, added things in, and look at that. How to customize your cars, drill them, chop them, add stuff, add guns, and there's some beautiful models. Look at that. I don't tout for business very often, but if anyone out there wants some cars done, let me know. I'll be mad keen to do it. So I haven't got the time on my own time to make such a good job, and I'd love to have a proper crack and do them for someone else. Look at these, all sorts of cars. You can just go for it. Shiny cars, rusty cars, converted tractors, anything. And there were original rules. I used to love them. So I never played it with cars. I always played those little cardboard things you got with those little Steve Jackson. Anyone old enough? Those little mini flat, like I don't know. It was what was it remind you of? It was like a pencil case set, little bookcase, I think they were called. Anyway, cracking on, zombie stuff. It's actually the figures this time. If you look closely, the figures are being reviewed and promoted. So if you want some modern troops, I don't think they have to be used in zombie games. They could probably be used in most sci-fi and near future. Look pretty cool to me. I like them. There we are. Lucky Devils, Nottingham Wargaming Club. Nottingham must be the coolest place to live if you're a wargamer, surrounded by all the companies that make the rules and stuff. And let's sneak this in at the back, little bonus article. There we are, how to paint mounted figures. Little trick, which I won't spoil if we look at the magazine. Like little fillers like that. Lots of small ads, figure painters, all those kind of people you have to watch out for. Hello. Next month's theme is Soldiers of the Queen. Oh my goodness, that looks a lot like Rorke's. I can't believe I said that. I said those comments about Rorke's and Zulu before I spotted this. There's be more British propaganda next month. I shall polish off my 24th hat. Or helmet, sorry. There you go. And new figures from Gripping Beast on the back. As I always say, the adverts are part of the magazine. You learn as much from looking at all the adverts as you do from the articles. There we are. What I think overall, well, it gave me quite a bit of reading enjoyment. I went through it. Too much history compared to wargaming, so it's going to lose a couple of points to that. Rehashing jingoism, it's 150 years out of date. Loses points as well from my point of view. No ancients at all, I don't think. This seems a bit of a miss. No fantasy. Quite a bit of sci-fi and modern. I think I'm looking at 5 out of 10, I'm afraid. Oh, it did look great. And I had a very good article on the paras, and I have friends, as you know, and family. I'm going to be arm twisted, give it 6 out of 10. What marks out of 10 do you give me for my review? More or less than 6? I doubt it'd be more than 6. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. More soon. Miniature Wargames is due out. Well, I should have it already. So where is it? Hopefully it'll be here the next day or two, and I can review that. And I've got Dragon Rampant review and Lion Rampant battle reports to the strongest. The tournament I am helping organise is May, something like the 21st. Go to the official To the Strongest website. The rules writer Simon is also organising it. In fact, he's doing most of it. I'm sort of just the local rep. Like when you go on holidays, you know. Thompson do all the bookings, and the rep comes and greets you and puts a drink down. Yeah, that's my job. Anyway, so there we are. Tell you more about that soon. Simon Miller is going to be all go to his website, Big Red Bat Cave. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Keep rolling.